Hello everyone, here's Paul from rmpforex.com and welcome to the weekly review of 5 major forex pairs based on Masterforex-V Technical analysis. As every weekend I will take a look at EURUSD, British Pound, Australian Dollar, Canadian Dollar and Japanese Yen against US Dollar. For those of you who is watching my reviews for the first time, I will just quickly explain you what I'm doing here and what I'm sharing with you. Each weekend I prepare for the trading week by choosing my strategic direction based on H4 and the one time frame based on Masterforex-V Technical analysis for each of those currencies. So once I have the strategic direction chosen, then each morning I open up my charts and create a tactical plan each morning before the session for each pair. Then once I have the tactical plan gives me entry zones. Once I have those entry zones, then I go and apply my trading system, which is usually trend following trading system. So that's the quick review of my algorithm of trading actions. And with you, I'm sharing 30% of my trading plan, which is the strategic direction for each currency pair based on Masterforex-V Technical analysis. So before we proceed, make sure you read through the risk disclaimer. It is very important. Click the pause button if you need some more time. Just a quick announcement before we start. Starting from next weekend, each Saturday I will be releasing a review based on Masterforex-V Technical analysis for 4 major cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies are also currencies, so all the same regularities and price movements and all those laws based on Masterforex-V Technical analysis, they work also on cryptocurrencies. So each Saturday, starting with next week. So if you are a cryptocurrency trader or you're investing into cryptocurrencies, make sure you subscribe to this channel so you will not miss any new updates of this channel or any new videos. And let's get straight into the chart. The first pair is, as usually, EURUSD. First of all, if you will go through my couple of last reviews, couple of weeks, you will remember that Euro is still in a D1 flat phase with these 2 reference points. And once we will break through this reference point, we will have a huge FZR with some new force, which will be a weekly FZR up. If we will go down and break through this reference point, then we'll have the one FZR down, and this pair then will move into a trend phase down. But it looks like at the moment that we're going up to this reference point. Also, for me, this level is a bit too high because I'm intraday trader, so I'll just go to a smaller time frame, which is H4, and here you can see this is the FZR that I'm looking at the moment, and here you can see the pivot point that is protecting this trend up. So as long as this pivot point is not broken, I will be using my trend following trading system because EURUSD will stay in a H4 trend phase up. Once we will break through this pivot point, EURUSD will come back to H4 flat, and then new reference points will be created, and then I will update you on that during next weekend if something like that will happen. Or make sure you follow me on YouTube channel, and I'm usually updating those new reference points in the comment section below of each video for that week. So this is my idea for EURUSD. I'll just go back quickly to D1. You can see here, that's that FZR that I'm looking at. That's the H4 FZR. And if we go proceed and break through this reference point, then we will move to a weekly FZR up. So hopefully that will happen, and then I can earn some more money from this trend up. We'll see what will happen, but for now that's the idea. And you can also here see the reference point, this trend up that I am trading in. So next pair is British Pound against US Dollar. British Pound, if you will remember my last review from maybe 2 weeks ago, because last weekend was the Christmas weekend. So 2 weeks ago I mentioned about breaking through this reference point, and I said that it is very important to know online and to understand those reference points by yourself before you start using them in the trading. So I'll just go to a smaller time frame. Here you can see in this place there was a pivot point created, and once we broke through this pivot point, I immediately stopped looking at this pair like a trend phase down. From that moment here, or from that moment, I needed the price to go and renew the new low. right? So as long as that didn't happen, I was not doing anything until we broke through this reference point here. So what happened here now, and it is actually happening at the moment, we had an FZR of H4 up, and British pound moved into a trend phase up of H4 time frame. And here is the pivot point that is protecting this trend up, and as long as this pivot point is not broken, the trend up will proceed and the trend phase will stay intact. Also in my own trading, I will be watching this pivot point here. Once this pivot point will be broken, I will just have to stay away from this pair until it renews the new high. So for those who is trading longer term or not intraday like me, then this pivot point is still protecting the trend up, and as long as it's not broken, the trend up stays intact. But for me, once we will break through this reference point, I'll just have to be a little bit more careful, because my entries are, when I open a trade, my stop losses are usually between 15 and 20 pips. So when this pivot point will be broken, I'll just have to wait for a little bit safer entry or entry zone, and wait until the price will show me some new smaller time frame reference points. So that's the idea for British pound. Again, the trend phase stays intact at the moment, and I'll just go to a higher time frame. Here you can see once we'll break through this reference point here, we'll move out into a D1 FZR. So the British pound will go into a D1 trend phase up as well. So I can keep using my trend following trading system and hopefully just earn some more money in this trend up. So that's the idea with British pound. Let's go next to the Australian dollar against US dollar. Australian dollar, if you will remember my last review, I mentioned these 2 points. I'll just go to a smaller time frame. I was saying that this pivot point is protecting the trend down, and once it's broken, I just stay away from this pair and do nothing. Then you can see we proceeded and broke through this reference point, and this reference point was protecting the whole impulse down of D1. So now once it's broken, D1 time frame moved into a flat phase. So Australian dollar is now in a flat phase of D1 time frame. So the reference points are as follows. Once we break through this reference point, this pair will move into a trend phase of daily time frame. FZR of D1 will happen, and then once we break through this reference point, I will start using my trend following trading system. If we'll just go with this impulse up, never stop and go there up, and break through this reference point, then we will have an FZR of a weekly time frame. Later on, I'll just come back to a weekly time frame to show you better how it looks like from a higher time frame. Also, if something like that will start happening in the middle of the following week, if this impulse will stop, then for me a new reference point will be created here. So if this impulse will stop and we will break through the new reference point, then straight away I will start using my trend following trading system, because it will be an FZR of H4 trend up. But again, as long as we're between those reference points, this pair will stay in a flat phase. I'll just go to a smaller time frame and show you where is the pivot point that is protecting this impulse down. Pivot point is here. So once we will break through this pivot point, then the whole impulse up will stop, and that new reference point will appear for me, and then I will have new borders for the new flat phase. So going back to weekly time frame, here you can see that's the daily flat phase, and if we will break through this reference point, we will have a weekly FZR up, and this pair will move into a long-term trend phase up. Hopefully that will happen for me, because that will mean for me I can earn some more money, because my trading system is adapted for trading inside trend phase. So that's the idea with Australian dollar. Next pair is Canadian dollar against US dollar. And again, if you would like to know a bit more about the whole situation of this pair, just go through a couple of last videos, couple of my reviews, maybe 4 or 5 reviews into the in the past, and then you will find out I was talking there a lot explaining what this FZR means, what means breaking through this reference point, and how this pair moved from weekly trend phase down back into a flat phase. So just go through those videos and you will understand everything. But for me, at the moment, important is this impulse here and this pivot point that is broken. That means for me that we have 2 new reference points and that daily level flat phase. As long as we're between those 2 reference points, we're in a flat phase. Once we will break through this reference point, we will have an FZR of daily time frame up, and this pair will move into a trend phase up, and then I can start using my trend following trading system and go to a smaller time frame. As I said in the start of this video, go to my trading plans and create some tactical plans for the upcoming session each morning. If we will go down and break through this reference point, then the whole trend of a weekly time frame will proceed. We will have here an FZR of weekly time frame, and then this pair will move into a trend phase of weekly time frame, which is also good for me. For me, it's as long as the pair stays in a trend phase, I'm happy enough, no matter what direction it's going. Also, if this impulse here will stop, then I will have a closer reference point for my H4 FZR, because usually when I have an H4 reference point broken, then I can start use my trend following trading system once we are in the H4 trend phase. So that's the idea for Canadian dollar. Next pair is Japanese yen against US dollar. If you'll remember my last review, and I was saying about these 2 reference points, and that Japanese yen is now in a daily flat phase. So now, and I also said last time that if some new reference points will be created, then I will let you know. And what is happening at the moment based on AO indicator data, these 2 are now 2 reference points for daily flat phase. As long as we're between those 2 reference points, the pair will stay in a D1 flat phase. Once we will break through this reference point, we will have a D1 FZR up, like this one, and then I can start using my trend following trading system, because this pair will move into daily trend phase up. If we will go from here and break through this reference point, we will have an FZR like this one, which is also daily FZR down. And once we will break through this reference point, this pair will move into a trend phase down and will allow me to use my trend following trading system. As long as we're between those 2 reference points, this pair will stay in a D1 flat phase. And what is interesting, I'll just go to a bigger time frame. You can see here, that's the flat phase and those 2 reference points that I am choosing for my trading. Here is the bigger flat phase, and here is even bigger flat phase, and here is even higher time frame flat phase. And if you go further, you will find also this flat phase as well. So as you can see, my flat phase in my reference points are like, it is like a spring that is squeezed in and ready to fire out into some direction. We will see. No matter which way it will go go through the MF domino principle. It will create a bunch of FZRs no matter what direction it will go. So for me, as long as it's not staying in the flat phase, I'm alright. For me, it's important that pair stays in the trend phase of H4. Then I can start use my trend following trading system and use it intraday. So that's the idea for Japanese yen. If you have any questions, thoughts, or ideas, feel free to use the comment section below. I will be more than glad to have a conversation with you. If you are still not subscribed to this channel, here's the button for you. I invite you to subscribe. Happy New Year, and I will talk to you the next weekend.